I am beyond excited to announce that I have partnered with Magimix for Season 8 of Crazy Sexy Food. Magimix is a family-owned business that has the amazing reputation as makers of quality kitchen appliances that are adored by chefs and home cooks alike. I remember growing up and always seeing my mum's beloved Magimix on her countertop and the utter ease of how she used it. With their 30-year motor guarantee, these machines have always been built to last. They continue to be relevant as ever in the busy kitchen and make fantastic food processors that make your food go further and reduce food wastage. They are a godsend when it comes to batch cooking and using up leftovers. I use my Magimix every single day. If you're ready to step into the world of Magimix with a new food processor, blender, ice cream maker, or any other bit of kit, then simply pop over to their website and use my exclusive code at checkout for a 15% discount. The code is MagimixCSF. Make it with Magimix. Hi, and welcome to Crazy Sexy Food. I'm Hannah Harley-Young. This podcast is all about the love of food and how it plays a part in our lives. I sit down with well-known personalities, food experts, chefs, and people who, well, just love their food to find out all about their life, career, and their favourite tastes along the way. Today, I am beside myself. I have a member of All Saints sitting at my kitchen table. I'm not okay. Melanie Blatt, everyone. As 1/4 of the worldwide best-selling girl group, Mel and the Girls, Shaznay, Nicole and Natalie, released their first album in '97. This shot to the charts and included the songs Never Ever, Under the Bridge and Bootie. I remember buying this album and listening to it religiously like it was yesterday. The record went on to become the UK's third best-selling girl band album of all time, and the songs received critical acclaim with numerous awards. This was followed by their second album, Saints and Sinners, which went to number 1 and included another global hit, Pure Shores. All Saints were the cool girls with their combat trousers, vest tops and hoop earrings. They channeled the 90s aesthetic in a way that will go down in history. In fact, the looks are back in fashion as we speak. Mel, this is a bit of a fangirl moment for me. I am so excited to have you on. Welcome to Crazy Sexy Food.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm just like living my childhood fantasy right now. Before we get into it, I always start my conversations with, what did you have for breakfast today?
I had a coffee. That is it.
That's very French of you.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
It's sort of just very like sort of rock and roll chef.
It's just me trying not to eat.
Right, okay. Are you into intermittent fasting?
Oh, I've tried everything. I'm in and out. I'm intermittent. I'm not intermittent.
You're overeating.
Yes, I'm doing it all.
Fine. I totally understand that. Obviously, you have just come off the back of Celebrity Masterchef, which I have to say was probably, and I'm not just saying because you're sitting here, the best season yet. And I just want to congratulate you because not only were you a finalist, but goddamn, you can cook.
Thank you so
Honestly, much. And I just talk to me about the experience because watching it is incredibly nerve-wracking. I get anxiety when things go wrong, when time's running out. Is it as crazy as it looks?
Yes, it's the stress, the time. I mean, that I think is the whole point of the show is the timing, like the pressure of getting it done in that amount of time. Because I think with a recipe, anybody can cook. Some people can cook well, some people not so well, but everyone can make you just follow the instructions. So that's not the hard bit, is when you've got time to do it in. But when you have to get it done in like an hour and a quarter, and it's not really an hour and a quarter because they come and talk to you.
Well, this is the thing,
and they don't add that bit on.
But so how much do they tell you when they're going to come over and chat to you, or they just sort of spring up?
Well, they're sort of doing the rounds, so you can feel them nearing.
Okay,
and
because that would irritate me.
Oh yeah, and of course. And the thing is, you have to try and be like hi. Yeah. So let me talk to you about my dish that I'm not really doing very well at right now. So that's like the tricky bit. But I actually thrived under that. I liked that challenge.
Yeah. And then how much time beforehand do you get to practice all the dishes that you're making?
So once you know you're going on the show, they sort of send you a brief of like the first couple of things that the challenges that you're going to have, not like the ones that they spring on you, but like when you're doing your own dish and whatnot. So you've got a little bit of time at the beginning to think of what that is, but then obviously as you get further into the competition, you've got less time to think about.
Oh, of course,
because you get given the brief, but it's nearer the time. And also the last thing you want to do when you've been in the studio all day is go home and cook.
Yeah.
So I did it. And that's probably why I didn't win.
Oh, well, darling, you're a winner in my eyes, all right? But I think what I really took from your experience was that it really meant something to you. And like, there were like moments, like obviously when Mary Berry came and you got and you got emotional. But like, no, but that's just like, I love that because it's real. It's like if one of my idols sort of walked in and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm cooking for this person.
With Mary, I didn't even realise how emotional it would make me feel, obviously, because that's not cool. But it was when I started to think, like, her book was one of the first books that I started cooking with, that I bought for myself, that I was like interested in it, and because she had a great one where she had pictures of steps, the pictures.
Oh
of the
my
steps.
God, those are so old school. Those kinds of books,
but it's what you need because when they say, if you've just got like a menu and a recipe, and they're like, okay, so you chop that up, do that. And if you're new to it or you're not sure, you just want to know that stage is exactly what it's supposed to be. And sometimes you don't know from the writing.
No, totally.
So pictures was beautiful.
I love that. And if you could choose one dish that you made on the series that you're most proud of, which one would it be?
Quite a few of them.
Because I personally want your dirty burger.
Well, that's the one that keeps coming up.
I'm not
That's
gonna
the
lie.
one that
it was the mac and cheese patty that did it for me.
I know. Listen, the thing is, when I first went into the show, I thought, right, they're going to want to see. I remember practicing like one of my first dishes that when you do at the end of the heats and you do the first, the 2-course meal with the judges. So I had like practiced like, there was like a sea bass thing from like the Nobu cookbook and on black rice with this and that. And then for starters, I'd done like scallops on this like sweet corn thing with like njuja. And then literally the night before I was supposed to go in and cook it, I was like, I would never eat that food.
I think you said that. Yeah. You said, I've literally changed this overnight.
And I literally did change it. So I didn't have time to practice. I just thought, I'm going to have to make something that I know because then I know what it's supposed to taste. I know what I want it to taste like and look like if I want to eat it. And that's what I did. So I literally abandoned all that. And I said, is it okay to change my dish? Are you mad? And I was like, yes, I am. So I did.
Well, it paid off.
It did.
Well, it did. But I guess, like, so when they're saying to you, this is, I could go on, this could be a whole podcast just about MasterChef at this point. But I guess, like, my final question is, so they say to you, okay, you're going to plan for, like, the first 3 episodes, so to speak. So are you just going through cookbooks and being like, okay, I love that dish on Nobu. Let's see if I can make it. Or do you have to create your own recipes? I mean, they're not expecting you to, like, reinvent the wheel.
No, exactly. Definitely spent hours on the internet, and I've got loads of cookbooks at home.
Fine.
But it's finding, you don't just want to do boom, that's the recipe. You do want to kind of make it your own a bit. So you sort of tweak this, tweak that, add a little element.
And obviously, I guess a meal that you can make in like, well, an hour or 45 minutes.
So and that's the thing. There's no marinating really. Like, you want to marinate something for overnight. I slow cook a lot. So those were the things so I had to, sort that out.
I thought you were brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
So I want to take it back to your childhood. Mm-hmm. You were born in London, but you were raised between here and France. I want to know what life was like growing up. Who was cooking? What food was on the table? Was it important to you and the family? Kind of paint the picture.
So my parents love food. I wouldn't say they're foodies, but food's always been like something that I've grown up thinking, this is nice. And then I would say my mum's French, so she would cook sort of, saucy things and do the Sunday dinner and stuff. My dad, I actually prefer my dad's cooking because he was really good at frying anything frozen.
Yes.
But they were the meals that I wanted. I didn't want mum's chicken with a nice sauce. I wanted a pancake. Findus pancake with beans and smash, not even mash.
Oh my God, that's old school. Yes.
That's how old I am.
So would you sort of sit around the table, because how old are you when you went back to France?
So I was about 12 or 13 when I went to France.
Okay.
So up until then, in when we lived in London, no, we never sat at the table for dinners or anything. When we got to France, I think because we initially moved into my mum's childhood home.
Oh wow.
And I probably just because being in France and going back to that way, we then started to eat at the table. So now we do eat. Well, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But it's funny, we never ate at the table all the time, and then I turned 16 and I just.
And then, so what dishes would you say remind you, except the pancakes, remind you most of your childhood?
The
pancakes.
Also,
smash.
also I would just love a big bowl of smash, loads of butter and peas mixed in it.
Simple girl at heart. I love it. So, obviously interested in eating as a child. Were you interested in cooking?
Yep, I loved cooking. I remember I made the first time my mum let me use the stove on mum, she was surveying. I think I was about 11. We were living on a canal boat in King's Cross at the time.
No way! That's so cool.
And I made my first spaghetti and tomato sauce. And I remember crunching the onions, which I was like, this isn't very nice. But my parents ate it, bless them.
Aww.
But yeah, that was my
the
first
things.
time
The things you got to do for the kids. Eh?
I also cooked a cake when I was even younger in the microwave, when microwaves were just invented.
Oh,
by
wow.
the way. And I put the cake in there for about 10 minutes, and I think it was on fire outside the kitchen for about a day and a half, just glowing.
Do you know what's funny though? These days, if I ever find myself on TikTok, you can do microwave cakes in a mug.
Yes.
With 3 ingredients.
I've seen that. I haven't tried it.
I don't know. You were kind of ahead of the curve. That's the angle I'm going to go with.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So you... Obviously, your adult life, we all know, one of the biggest girl bands in the world. But I want to sort of take it back a little bit before that. Your musical talents were obviously picked up at quite a young age. You went to Sylvia Young. And I guess I'd love to sort of hear about what your experience was like, at stage school or, doing auditions. This is sort of like the 80s, and, early 90s, perhaps, sort of moving into sort of... Talk about what that time was like for you.
I loved it. I loved it there overall. But now, it's the dream, singing and dancing, acting, it's just, and all the kids were just like crazy, so full of it, but in a good way. So all that bit was great. I think the one thing, and looking back now, that I feel, and it's you get older, you look inside yourself a bit and you're wondering, why do I behave like that?
God, we've all done that.
Yeah, and I think to be introduced to that level of competition at such a young age, I don't think that helped my confidence.
Okay.
So being aware so early on of sort of someone being prettier than you getting a job, or me, because I was darker, not getting a job against a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid. And I think that's kind of stuck with me when I think about, why, I was so confident, and then that confidence just stopped. And I think it was directly that.
That's really interesting. So would that, when it was sort of affecting your confidence, was that kind of as you were coming out of the school, or was it even
the whole
whilst
time,
the whole time you were there?
It's also... reality, I suppose, of the business, that you will be in competition, and some people, but sometimes it's about the way you look, sometimes it's about your voice, it could be anything, which is realistic, but it's not great for the soul.
No,
I think.
Of course.
I just think at such a young age.
Well, I was going to say at such a young age, and also, listen, but both girls and boys, but I just think, also as a female, and just sort of. That's such a pivotal age, sort of 11 going into your teens. It's like you're already dealing with so much internal stuff as it is.
Yeah.
So sort of being judged by whether it's the way you look or the way you sing or act, or it can sort of absolutely...
Yeah, because you can't really process it properly. You just think
you probably
don't have
you don't have the emotional intelligence, I think, at that age to fully understand what's going on.
And I'm pretty sure now well, I don't know. I mean, my daughter actually went to Sylvia's as well.
Oh, really?
And she really enjoyed it, but she didn't stay too long though. But yeah, it's just a weird one. Just in general, kids in showbiz, and I've been a kid in showbiz, and I loved it. I enjoyed it, but I can see, bits where it wasn't.
When
great.
I was doing my research on you, I know everything about you now. I'll talk about it later.
Okay, thank you.
You were in Les Miserables.
Yes, I was.
How was
I didn't
that?
do anything. I was Eponine. I was young Eponine, and she
Okay.
just shoves Cosette around a little bit and plays with the doll, and then I'm out. But
Still, it's it's on your CV.
It's on my CV.
Take it. Just
On
take
my
it.
CV. I have a picture of me in the show.
There we go. Done. Sorted. Kind of fast forwarding a little bit. You were already friends with Nicole. So we're sort of going towards like the formative years of the band. So you went to school with Nicole.
Yeah.
You'd met Shaznay at the studio, which is actually around the corner from where I grew up, which was Psalm Studios, was it?
Yeah, we actually, we eventually went there, but we started on All Saints Road and Metropolis Studios.
Well, is that?
No, not Metropolis. What did he call it?
I called it Psalm.
No, Psalm was around the corner. That was part of ZTT.
Ah,
that was down St. Luke's Muse.
right.
But
I thought the Rolling Stones recorded there once.
everyone's
I'm
recorded
making
at
it all up.
Psalm.
Okay,
Everyone's recorded
fine,
at Psalm.
okay.
Live Aid.
Yes,
everything.
yeah.
But we actually met around the corner on All Saints Road. Our manager, who then was our manager for a bit, basically the one that got us all together.
Yeah.
He had a studio, Metropolis. Metropolis.
We're gonna call it Metropolis.
We're going to call it that.
Okay.
And that is the studio where we met.
Got you. Okay. So I guess, this is the era, this is the 90s, right? We're in sort of Spice Girl era, if you want to call it that. The girl band is like the thing of the decade. And I guess I really just want you to like fill the blanks in terms of, I guess, what your experience was like being in the industry in the 90s. This is not the era of the internet. It's not the era of social media. It's a lot more, maybe not as regulated as it is now, or I don't even know if it is still regulated, but just sort of describe it all to me.
I mean, it was a whirlwind, obviously. I think it was, again, super fun. There was some great times. We'd been going for years, so when we finally did get success, it felt good. You know what I mean? And then I suppose I think, especially Shaz and I, because when we first started the band, I think we didn't really have much intention as far as success or anything like that. I think our main goal was probably the end goal would be Top of the Pops, Smash Hits magazine, Top of the Pops, and that would be we've made it. I love it. And then it kind of went further than that, and that's when we were like, is this really fun? The traveling, spending a lot of time away from home, not really getting much time to do performing. We didn't really perform. We'd go on a TV show here, go on a TV show there, do one song, go. But we never went, we didn't go, we had one tour while we were together.
Gosh, you know what? It's actually, as you're saying that, I'm just thinking it, and obviously I'm most certainly not in the music industry, but you're absolutely right. It's like you see these artists perform, but actually the main bulk of it is probably what you're just saying. It's promo, it's
just sat
going on a
talking,
TV show, it's doing another shoot, it's maybe being in the studio.
Yeah. And that was definitely not in the dreams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we had. So I think that made success sort of hard to enjoy, maybe. Nearer to the end, obviously.
And I mean, gosh, how would you say, compared to nowadays, the industry has changed?
Well, I'm not really part of the industry too much these days.
Well,
so.
she
But
might be one day. I'll make her.
But it's completely different. I mean, now the main thing, the main way bands make money is touring.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case back in the day. Social media changes everything. I love that you've got more of a direct link to the fans. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad in anything, I think, and with what it is now, I do think that the internet is good for getting new talent out there.
Yeah.
But then I suppose then it's like nurturing that talent.
No, absolutely. If you had to choose your favourite All Saints song, what is it?
it's probably some sort of B-side or album track that's buried that nobody really thinks anything of, but it's like my favorite tune ever. There's a few, like Take the Key. There was one called Take the Key that I loved.
I
That's
knew
one of my
that.
favorites.
For some reason, Mel, I still know word for word the entire intro to Never Ever. Still, I don't understand at the age of 34 why it's still just like logged in my memory.
It's the same with the Umbungo advert.
Yeah.
Why do I know the Umbungo advert?
But the weird part of the whole thing is that I speak it in the American accent.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah. Anyway, that's like
You're normal.
That's my dinner party talent.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. So if you're lucky, I might do it at the end, and then you can go in afterwards in your first verse.
Thanks.
Obviously, one song that was like global was Pure Shores. That was the soundtrack of The Beach. Did you meet Leo?
We did. He's really nice. Didn't just spend that much time with him, but actually, at the time, my partner was good friends with him, so he was sort of part of our sort of universe. So yeah, he was a very nice guy.
And have you been to that beach?
So I've been since.
Okay.
But at the time, the whole point of doing maybe not everybody else's. My whole point of doing that song was that we were going to go to Thailand to film the video. We went to Norfolk.
You did not.
We went to Norfolk.
You got shortchanged.
In January.
No, you did not.
Yes,
Who made that decision?
I don't know. Some bastard. But years later, I did go to visit that
And
beach.
is it as beautiful as it looks on
It's
the
absolutely
screen?
beautiful. Lots of tourists, though.
Yeah. I heard that they had to shut that beach down for a bit because apparently
Yeah.
there were so many tourists
Yeah,
and
I
they were
heard that.
actually ruining it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have not been one day.
Yes.
What was on your rider? I always ask musicians this. I always find it quite fascinating.
Our riders are always so rubbish because, like, they ask, "So what do you want in your rider?" And we're all like that. And we never know what to put there. I don't want fresh fruit. I don't want fresh fruit. I think the last time we were on tour, our rider consisted of Nurofen, Barocca, beef hula hoops, and that was it. Maybe some wet wipes.
I don't want to know what you're using those for.
That's pretty much our rider.
Not a drink?
Oh,
What's
always
your-
champagne,
okay,
always champagne.
okay,
But not
alright.
necessarily, not for me, but Nick and Nat like to have a little glass.
Okay. And do you, what's your kind of like rule in terms of like just before you're performing? I assume you're not eating straight before, you're leaving it a few hours.
I mean, you'd think that would be the case, wouldn't you?
okay,
If I was a
fine.
professional, yes.
Right, okay.
No, I'm the worst.
Okay.
I am the worst.
So you're going on
I've
straight
actually
after
gone
a
on
full-
stage so full that I was like, well, that's not doing that again. Like literally just full of potatoes to here and like, this is not going to work. I was like trying to jump and I was like, I couldn't get off the ground. So I've done that and that's not a good idea. So I've stopped doing that.
Okay.
But no, I don't even warm up.
God, so
And
you really are a natural talent.
No,
then.
no. I could be much better is what I'm trying to say. I should probably give back everybody's money that they've ever given to see the band because I'm
Oh
really
God,
not.
I'm going to get inundated with
not-
DMs being like, oi, where's my ticket money?
I could be much better.
I think one sort of last thing I want to touch on before we sort of leave that amazing 90s era was, and I sort of mentioned it a minute ago, is that, you know, the 90s, especially as someone growing up as a child throughout the 90s and obviously, you know, loving you guys and loving all the other music that was coming out, it was like that Spice Girls era. Mm-hmm. But you guys were sort of like the antithesis of Spice Girls in the way that you guys looked, what you wore. And I think for me, that was what I loved about you guys, because don't get me wrong, Spice Girls, epic, historic moment. But I felt like I was more you in the sense of like, I was wearing the combat trousers. I wasn't, walking around in like a mini skirt and platforms and looking super glossy, and not that you're not glossy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, you spoke about the pressures as a child, but I can imagine that when you then had formed a band and you've got all this, incredible success, that must also come with its own pressures. Did you ever feel like, I don't know, you had to like conform at any point, or were you very like, this is us?
Yeah.
What you see is what you get.
No, we were lucky. We didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
We had a great record company and great people that worked there that never saw. They maybe tried at the beginning a little bit, tried to put us in a skirt. No, but yeah, they I think they got it quite quickly. So they knew who to bring in to work with us, stylists and producers and directors, everything. I think they got it right. Yeah, and with it's a weird one because that whole like we just sort of turned up. We were together being All Saints, exactly how you say it now, with pretty much the same songs before the Spice Girls came out.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
Yep.
So just so that you guys know, we were there first.
So they're actually the original.
But then they came out, and it wasn't until they got successful that the record company were like, girl bands.
Got you, yeah.
So we're like that, because of the Spice Girls, we got
No, but that's what I'm saying. But like, it still feels like you guys are very much like the originals. And I think, like I don't know, it was just like, I remember going to Tammy Girl, and genuinely my wardrobe was very much based on like the combat trouser and the vest top. It was influenced by the US, by the R&B bands absolutely.
of the US.
Yeah,
because we were influenced by them, and that trickled down. And we, at the time, you couldn't really get those clothes in London.
Except so you had Tammy Girl. Listen, long live Tammy Girl, all right?
Well, we'd go down to Camden and the army surplus shops, and then it was cheap.
And then I remember there wasn't that big sort of like fashion surge of the Maharishi trousers. My mum has just found her original pair.
I've still got some.
I was like, Mum, do you realise people would kill for those? You better get those on. She rocked them the other day. They're like orange. Way. They're so cool. I've got to say though, I do feel old now that the whole look is coming back.
Right.
Because I don't know about, I mean, I've always kind of kept a similar style my whole life. I'm quite sort of like chill, down to earth. But when you start seeing like very young kids literally wearing the outfit that I was wearing when I was like 14, thinking that they've just created a whole look, and I'm like, you have no idea.
But just know that that's what our parents said about us when we were like,
I know.
It just,
but it's like when you like, because I'm like mid-30s now, and I think it's when you get to like your mid-30s and you've had all the generations now, and it's like, oh God, like
it's
you're wearing the Adidas trousers with the poppers. Are you kidding me? I was rocking that at age 12.
I know. I feel the same. And you know what? I actually still really like that aesthetic.
Oh no! Oh God,
but
me too.
Now I feel I can't wear it like you don't
No, I know.
if you were a pop star in the 70s, you're not allowed to wear flares.
Yeah.
And when you know what I mean, you can't. You did that.
I know
so
what
you
you
can't
mean.
do it
I know what you mean.
even though I do.
Yeah. I want to take it back to the food. So obviously, Celebrity Masterchef is done and dusted. It's fabulous. You keep your apron?
Yes, they send it to you.
Good. Also, fresh aprons every episode, every single time you cook.
Well, actually, I'll tell you a funny thing that happened on the when we went to do the challenge with Giorgio Locatelli.
Oh yeah, that looked amazing.
So we'd had our chef's whites, and they take them away, dry clean them, and then they brought them that morning. I put mine on, no more. Danny and Lisa put theirs on. Go and watch it back. Her sleeves go to here. She's got like a little crop top. Whites, and then Danny was like, it was tight as well, and I wasn't trying to swap with anyone. They shrunk. I don't know what happened, but that's how they.
Do you get to keep your chef whites?
No.
Oh, shame. That's fun.
I would have liked that.
I might actually I might buy some chef whites and just start cooking my midweek meals in chef whites.
I was just thinking, I'd just buy myself a chef white, chuck a MasterChef thing on there.
So obviously you cook at home, but like, what are your specialities?
I don't like fiddly, fussy, all that kind of stuff. I'm spag bowl, I'm the chicken, you know what I mean? Like, not fancy, just flavour. But I love bolognese. I love chicken tacos. I will make a big vat of chicken and just divide it into like little things to put in the freezer, and
that's a good idea.
So I just have a bit of chicken.
I think that's actually what really came across as well, is like you had a very good knowledge, like especially on like some of the street food.
I kind of figured everybody would know that. I didn't realise.
Well, no, apparently not.
I know. I was surprised.
Also, so I'm just got to go back, but like, how difficult was it? Because I weirdly was doing this to myself the other day. When they give you a plate of food, and they're like, okay, you need to write down all the ingredients in it. That's quite difficult.
It would be if you did, like, I think the other challenges was way harder than what our challenge was, to be honest. Like, because you could taste that it was meat in some sort of sauce, so it's a gravy. Has it got what? You can do that.
Yeah.
But like,
actually, your one
like
was
an
your one.
Asian dish.
Yeah.
When you don't, it tastes good, but like how to pinpoint the exact things in there, unless you have some sort of knowledge prior.
But your knowledge was very good. Like you knew that it was poutine. Like in terms of like even your tacos, they seemed very authentic.
But I love it.
So this is all the stuff that you've been cooking anyway.
Yes, I can sit and watch Food Network.
Oh, don't me
in
too,
the background all day, like Pioneer Woman, like literally anything, anything. I love it. I just love it.
What food do you dislike?
I don't eat oysters. I did try.
Okay. Bad experience?
I just couldn't swallow it down. Like I was like, and it was in Nobu, so it wasn't like a shit oyster.
It was
a
good oyster.
It was a nice one. I think I did the first one, the second one no, and after that I was just like, it's not so much like foods I don't like, but they're just not for me. But I eat most things.
Okay.
But I'm quite traditional in my flavors. You know, I can appreciate and respect other foods. I know what I like, and I like what I know.
I love a woman who knows what she likes. What 3 items do you always have in your fridge?
Cheese.
Okay. Spoken like a true French woman. What cheese, out of curiosity?
All of the cheese.
Okay, fine. All cheeses.
But usually a nice mature cheddar. Definitely some Philadelphia, because the Philadelphia I use that as a condiment, like as a sauce as well.
Yeah.
Just chuck it in everything. It's very nice. And like like the condiment bit of the fridge, that is full. That is full. Very.
Do you like hot sauces?
Occasionally,
okay.
if the mood is right.
Okay, fine. All right. I'm going to accept your 3 items as just all cheese. I've decided.
That's what it is.
Now that you are essentially a professional chef, what do you plan to do with all this talent that you already had and you've also probably sort of gained over the past few months?
I've been trying to think of what I'd like to do with it, because I absolutely love it. At the time, like after we were doing the ambulance, the air ambulance thing, as we were like bringing out these big trays and these massive pots and everything, I was like, this is bloody brilliant. And I asked John, I was like, do you think I could work in a restaurant? Could I start? Because I was thinking like, I want to do this and I'd like to start right at that, because integrity and respect is big things for me. So I would never expect to be respected by other, not even other, actual chefs. If I just come in and I've been on MasterChef for a season, I'm going, right, I'm cook now. You know, I'd love to get to do it properly and start at the bottom, work my way up. So that's still, I'm toying with the idea of doing that. I'd kind of think I'd be
that
up
would
for
be
doing.
amazing.
I'd love to just see if I can do it. The only thing that scares me, the hours and the physicality of it.
It's tough.
But the mental and the passion, I have that.
Right. You guys heard it here first. She wants to get in a restaurant. Why don't you speak to Giorgio? Seeing as you basically worked there already. You're just a returning chef.
True. I should do that. I've got to start sending my CV. I was on MasterChef.
I wonder if people do that. I bet they do. Like on like sort of like the normal MasterChef.
The normal
I'm
one,
sure they do.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I've decided I'm taking your CV and I'm gonna do something with it.
If you could get me a job, that would be great.
Okay. Right. Favorite restaurants when you do find yourself out and about?
McDonald's every time. I'm sorry. I love it.
Do you know what? In all of the seasons that I have done, not one person has said that. This is great.
Okay.
I'm really happy you've said that.
It is my favourite restaurant. I can't lie.
What's your order?
Big Mac. Big Mac meal, Coca-Cola. Thank you very much.
Nuggets?
No.
Chips, obviously.
Chips come with the fence.
So can I say something?
Yeah.
I haven't eaten McDonald's in over 10 years.
I mean, I'm impressed and also sad.
Do you know what it is? I think McDonald's do the best chips. Hands down. I'm happy to say that out loud, like 100%. For all those chefs that are wanting to get Mel in the kitchen, this isn't the only thing she loves. She also loves a bit of fine dining. She really respects all those flavors.
I do, but it's just not me. It's not. I know where. If somebody goes, "Where do you want to eat tonight?" I know where I'm going.
I mean, you mentioned Nobu. Do you like a bit of like a sort of like a good little sort of zhuzhy restaurant?
Yeah. Love Nobu. Love Chinatown. Love There's a few restaurants in because I lived in Ibiza for 9 years, so there's some restaurants there that are just like the best.
Are you a starter or a dessert person?
Starter.
Okay.
Starter.
So savoury.
All the starters, in fact.
Yeah.
I'd probably do all the starters, all the sides, no main, no dessert.
Do you know what? That's what I like doing. I sometimes just find mains a little bit, I don't know. If there isn't a main on the menu, I'll just order all the sides.
Well, because I never just want one thing.
You want to have a little pick of everything.
I want to try a little bit of everything.
No, I get that.
When we go for dinner with my family, I usually get a pasta for the table.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's just for the table, guys. We all know.
See, I also have a bit of a thing about share. Like, I love sharing food, don't get me wrong, but there's certain foods that I don't share. So I cannot share a pizza.
Oh.
Because I love pizza so much.
Same.
I do not want anyone to touch my pizza. And I will not share a packet of crisps. But we're going to come to that in a second. That's just seamlessly brought me into the quickfire questions. Okay. Starting off with, what is the craziest food you've ever eaten?
I'm sure it will have been somewhere when we were in Japan with the band a million years ago. I remember doing some show and we were cooking on one of those tables with the top. What do they call
like a teppanyaki?
Yeah, that vibe. Whatever that's
like
called.
a Benihana sort of.
Like a Benihana, but it was like a personal one.
Oh, yeah, like a Korean barbecue sort of situation.
Kind of that vibe. Anyway, and then she was putting all this stuff and we were sort of cooking this thing. And at the time we were much younger and way more stupid. Actually, not that much more stupid. Equally as stupid.
It's always stay stupid.
Yeah. And I don't know what the hell we were putting in on the table and mushing it about, but there was some weird stuff involved and that would have been that.
It was something. What has been your most memorable meal?
I mean, can it be like a family home-cooked meal?
Absolutely.
Probably like a Christmas dinner where everything's just, the timing's worked out perfectly and got like, there's definitely a Christmas where because I always do Christmas dinner.
Okay, so you're the
host.
host.
I got it done. I did it good.
Oh, really?
That one year I did it good, yeah.
And are you doing turkey or are you doing...
Turkey.
Okay. With all the trimmings?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a French element to it because I'm from my mum.
Yeah.
So her stuffing is more like a sauce.
Oh, okay.
So it's like sausage meat. You don't stuff the bird with it. It's on its own thing.
Oh, nice.
And it's port and sausage meat and chestnuts, and it's quite sloppy.
Oh, I like
You could probably put it on pasta, to be honest.
That sounds fabulous. I'm coming to yours for Christmas. Right. Most important question you are going to get asked today is, what is your favourite flavour of crisps and why?
That's not just a simple question, though.
I know it's not.
Excuse the quick fireness of it all. But
these are not quick fire at all.
Not, because it depends what the shape of and what kind of crisp we're talking about.
Okay.
My favourite crisp is a flaming hot Monster Munch.
Oh, well, behind me, as you can see on my cake stand,
No.
is my favourite crisps of all time, which are a pickled onion.
See, pickled
Monster
onion,
Munch.
yeah, okay.
And they are kept in their own little sort of
that.
celebration area.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's a great crisp,
It's a good one.
but it doesn't beat a pickled onion.
Yes,
but
it
serves a purpose.
Yeah, but you get more, I feel like there's more flavour in a flaming
okay.
hot.
All right, I might need to go and get a packet later. And
But
I'll
then
do
if it's
a
just a
bit
plain Walker's or something like that, then I'd probably, I'm not anything.
I just find, I like a walk. Again, I think you're absolutely right. I think everything kind of like has its place.
It depends what day it is as well. What
true.
And what am I eating? Have I got a Kit Kat or have I got a mint Aero? Because that changes what crisp I need. And it has to be a boxed Ribena as well with it as well to really make me enjoy that crisp.
Gosh, you're bringing back my whole childhood. That was my after school thing when you're about to get on the tube. If you're in London and you're going to school in London, you're getting on the tube, you hit the newsagent, you get a Ribena carton, I'd get a Galaxy bar and a packet of Monster Munch.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much, we lived on that and pot noodles for like
Pot noodles.
The All Saints at the beginning were probably sponsored by pot noodle, actually. Should have been.
I mean, you also mentioned on your rider there were beef hula hoops.
That's Nick's thing, but I actually enjoy them.
Great crisp.
She's made me enjoy them.
And also very substantial. They're thick, they're crunchy.
It's a meal.
Love them.
It's
Great.
a meal.
Okay. Totally accept all of your answers. What food sums up happiness for you?
It's got to be cheese again. Cheese.
What is your favourite cheese?
Oh, I don't have one. I don't. I know. Do you know what? Probably oats, really mature cheddar, like ouch, really.
Yeah.
But with some truffle honey on that.
Yes.
I mean, truffle honey on all the cheese.
Yeah. Truffle honey on everything.
Truffle honey on everything.
Final question: live to eat or eat to live?
Live to eat.
Hey!
Come on. Unfortunately, for my ass. But yes.
We just got to get back to body camp.
Yes, we do.
Oh, Mel, honestly, this was the biggest joy for me. Thank you so much. My 11-year-old self is crying inside. I really want to do this never ever thing with you, but I'm actually just going to not do it. But honestly, thank you so much. And the biggest congratulations for MasterChef, because it is no easy journey. So well done.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to visiting you in a restaurant kitchen soon.
Oh my God, imagine. That would be the dream.
Until next time, guys. Thank you for listening. If you love what you hear, please subscribe and review. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram @CrazySexyFood and check out the Crazy Sexy Food YouTube channel. Until next time, bye.